Listen to Dungeons with Dudes, a podcast with dudes. Dungeons, Dragons, and Flagons. Every other Sunday on the Journey into Comics Network.
The following
is a Journey into Comics.
Journey into Comics.
It's a Journey into Comics.
Journey into Comics.
Journey into Comics.
Journey into Comics.
Network.
Production.
I'm a dude who likes brews. It's time for Brews with Dudes. Juicy.
And we're back for another action-packed episode of Brews with Dudes. I'm your host, Nick Maxon, sitting down here at the North End Pub with Casey Taylor.
How we doing, guys? Good. Excited.
I'm very excited. The night is young, and I have not had a beer yet. I did have a Dr. Pepper.
Whoa. I had the leftover Miller Lite I started last night.
Ew.
That's disgusting.
So you need this.
I do believe that's called a wounded soldier.
Austin just always
Never
has to
leave
come,
a man behind.
Austin's
No man
got to come
behind.
out gross every time. Just
Goodness.
Gross.
We did that at college when we woke up in the morning. We're like, how can we get a cheap buzz at,
And I was
noon.
mentioning it, too, to my roommate that's what I love about Miller Lite. It's delicious no matter what point in time you drink it.
Delicious is
I can honestly say I've never
Little
drank
subjective,
leftover
I guess.
beer. I can honestly say I've never woke up and drank.
Oh, you never had that morning where you just drank too much the night before, you just needed something, and all there was a beer right there?
I have. I've woke up where...
Oh, man.
You drink it and you find out there's a cigarette butt.
I've done that. Guilty. That's disgusting.
I've been around smokers that know they do that, so I've always shaken the can first to make sure it didn't rattle.
That is just disgusting.
Can we talk about good stuff now?
This
is a good.
This is where we restart,
I'm
right?
excited about
That's
the
how
good
we-
beer,
that's how
not
we
how
could go.
gross
All right,
you
everybody
are.
knows I'm here now.
That's how
Yeah.
we roll.
Positive.
We're in strong. He needs no introduction, apparently. Austin, with his disgusting bullshit. Chris Pilot's also here.
I am also here.
It's been too long, my lion, since you've been on.
I saw
on
you
the show.
yesterday.
I mean, it's been long since you've been on the show.
Yeah.
I told Shaun, I said, Chris Pilot, I promise we'll try every beer we have. That's the one thing I love about Chris Pilot. If he shows up to a tap takeover, regardless if it's a small list or a long list, he's having them all. And not a sample,
He's
whole
getting it.
pint. Yeah.
He's getting it.
Pints.
He needs the full flavor.
We're 16-ounce tall boys.
Ooh. Goodness, there's a lot of those
We
nowadays.
got plenty of those.
Tons. We're sitting here with
bigger
Shaun from Craftroads.
Craftroads Beverage.
Craftroads Beverage. He's going to be helping us guide our way through these monstrous brews from Toppling Goliath. You want to say a little bit about Craftroads, about Toppling Goliath? Get us started?
Yeah, right on. Cool. Craftroads Beverage has been in we've been in business for 2 years now. So basically, we set out to not be a big brand collector. We wanted to bring in some of the best brands throughout the country. And, we got a lot of, great distributors out there right now. We've got Monarch World Class, we've got Zinc, Boom Beverage, Cavalier, Starlight, all these guys have some great brands, but what we did not want to do was have 100+ brands in our portfolio. So what we were able to do was, start something small. Start up with 3 or 4 brands. We were able to bring Avery Brewing Company out of Colorado back in. They had left a little while ago. We were able to get Ash and Elm Ciders out of downtown Indianapolis. And then, we've got Evil Czech out of Mishawaka, kind of started out with them. And then from there just started, being very meticulous with who we picked. They had to have good beer. You had to be in business for at least 2 or 3 years. It's just, we had to come and visit your brewery and kind of see what you were doing. And you got to have a lab in your brewery. That was one of the biggest things that we had to do because, we need to know that you are making some of the best beer out there. And that's kind of what we set out to do. And so far, we're up to, 18, 19 brands right now, Toppling Goliath being the latest one that we just brought into the state recently. Toppling Goliath being one of the top-ranked breweries in the country right now. If you were to go on ratebeer.com and look at every single style, APAs, IPAs, stouts, they've got at least 4 or 5 beers in the top 50 list right now. Tonight we're going to be drinking a lot of IPAs. They are a very big IPA forward brewing company. A lot of Mosaic, a lot of Citra hops that they use. And, even stouts. I mean, unfortunately, we don't have any stouts right now. Stouts is, what they're known for. I mean, they've got, the top 5 stouts in the country right now. But unfortunately, those are brewery release only beers. It's very, very hard to get.
We could get one of their stouts in here with this tap.
Yeah, they have the Kentucky Breakfast Brunch Stout. Number 1 beer in the world right now.
That sounds so delicious.
Exactly. They have the Morning Delight, which is a coffee stout aged in maple syrup barrels.
That's our stuff.
Yeah. So
it's beer blue balls.
We're gonna have to take a trip up to Decorah, Iowa, to get those beers.
Yes, we just attempted to buy tickets to their Assassin release.
The Assassin release, exactly.
It was within seconds.
Gone.
I was in the queue and I was out of the queue. They're like, nope, it's gone, buddy. So fast.
It's super hard.
And it's gone. Yep.
Yeah, very hard to get those. But, Toppling Goliath being out of Decorah, Iowa, it's kind of like right where Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa kind of come together. They do 30-plus brews a year. But like I said, very hazy, a lot of unfiltered beers. Even their lagers are unfiltered. As you can see here, I call them juice bombs.
Oh, yeah.
They're very, citrusy, a lot of grapefruit notes, a lot of lemon, pineapple zest to them. You're looking at anywhere between 6.2% to, 8% beers. But every single, even though there's a lot of IPAs, man, you're looking at some different notes and adjuncts to every single one. And that's what's really cool about them. Even their their POS and their cans. We've got Fire Skulls and Money. This reminds me of Metallica album right here.
Yes, it does. It does, actually.
Yeah.
So what are we drinking first? Is it the Fire Skulls and Money?
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Definitely the most bombastic of the cans we've got here. The King Sue.
King Sue is one I would love to have had. Unfortunately, King Sue has been such a very, very popular beer as of late. It's been hard. We had one huge pallet that we were able to get rid of. We were hoping to get some more in last week, but they were not ready for it. And we're like, that's fine. If you're not ready, get us some fresh shit,
we'll
man. When we get that packaged on date, we're looking at a week on that canned
that's
on
awesome.
date, and that's what we want to be. We love running out of beer. Because we can get that fresh. There's a lot of beer that comes into the state that's already got like 2 months on it. And, it's like, there are people that pay attention to that stuff.
What is it? About 3 months. You need to
Yeah,
if you get after 2 months, you're about
West
30
Coast
days,
style
right?
IPAs. I was seeing some beers out there that just came in, recently that already had 2.5, 3 months on them, and we're talking, beers from 2-3 states away. We carry a brewing company called Heretic Brewing Company out of Fairfield, California. They have one of the best beers in the country called Make America Juicy again. Indiana is actually the number 1 distributor outside their own market in California that distributes Make America Juicy. When we get that beer in, it's at a minimum 6 days on the canned on life.
Wow.
That's coming from California.
Right.
They
can it, throw it on the truck and go.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, and we fly through it. When we get 400 cases in, it's gone out the door in like 2 weeks.
We have some Heretic. You gave me some Heretic.
Yeah, we have some chocolate hazelnut porter that just came in
yeah.
today, and I got you guys some samples of Make America and Juicier Than Thou, which is Make America with mango.
Yeah,
So
that's a stay tuned future brew.
That is a stay tuned future brew right here. Yeah, definitely.
So So I mentioned the King Sue. That's one that we got in a beer trade. So we did try that one a couple, maybe 4 or 5 episodes
ago. Did you give me
ago.
1 can?
I got you guys a King Sue.
Yes, we tried.
Yeah,
it.
so we tried it.
Yeah.
So it's not here today. We just got the
It was
pseudo
delicious.
We have
more
pseudo
beer,
today.
beer blue balling. But it was great.
Yeah, yeah. So we're in the Fire Skulls and Money. What do we got up next?
The next would be, I always say this wrong, but Sosus.
Sosus, it's a double IPA, correct? Yeah. So, Sosus, it's 8% New England style IPA. Very hazy, very tropical, a lot of mango, like guava, pineapple adjuncts to it. It actually rates 100.
Is there actual pineapple in it?
Well, the hops that they use give it that pineapple, flavor to it.
That's something that a lot of people don't understand is that you can get a lot of the fruitiness that you would swear is fruit just from hops.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's just pineapple from the hops, you should be okay. I am trying to spill this cup over. Oh my god!
No, that's
It's been a couple
I was
times.
watching it. It was
He
just
said
like-
pineapple, and I looked over at Casey, and he immediately just jolted his cup.
Yeah, I'm allergic to pineapple. Like,
yeah,
don't break out.
No, they don't brew it with pineapple. That would actually be called a depache. When you brew something with fermented pineapple, is a depache is what it's called.
Interesting. Is that what this?
But no, this beer has a 100 style rating on Rate Beer and across the board. Honestly, a lot of Toppling Goliath beers are up there. It's like 98, 99, 100 on every single, rating on Rate Beer. That's why they're actually rated the number 2 brewery in the country right now by Rate Beer.
Yeah, because when you're drinking these, you can definitely taste the different flavors, and it's like juicy is such a good word. And it even the look, it's got that hazy look.
Oh my
to
goodness.
it. It has a great smell.
I call
to
them
it.
juice bombs, man. I mean, that's exactly what they are. I mean,
7.8%.
they're, that's the thing. Is like, I took a 4-year hiatus off of selling beer, and all of a sudden I come into the beer industry in 2017, and all of a sudden everybody's drinking milkshake IPAs. They're drinking New England style IPAs, and I'm like, what the hell is everybody drinking? They're really trying to appeal to the non-IPA drinker, is what they're doing. I love a good West Coast style IPA. Bell's Two Hearted, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. Those were my rite of passage beers. And now they're making these New England styles and these juice bombs. And, this is what everybody's really digging. And then they're just adding a bunch of fruit-forward flavors from there is what they're doing.
This is dangerous, being 7.8%. It is so smooth.
It is, yeah.
It's not-
You can't
it's not
taste
like
the ABV
boozy.
on it.
It's not, it doesn't have.
This is closer to the style of IPAs that I actually enjoy more. I used to drink a lot of IPAs and a lot of really heavy, just palate-wrecking IPAs.
No.
Palette wrecking.
Yeah.
That's actually
I
the
love
name.
that. Palate wrecking, yes.
That's the name of
and this is not what that is. This doesn't wreck your palate.
that's
No.
the name of one of my old favorites from Green Flash Brewery called Palate Wrecker. It was a triple IPA, and I just loved it just because it was just so heavy and just it did what it was called. It wrecked your palate, and that's what it tasted
Yeah.
for a while.
Wow.
It is what it is, yeah.
Delicious. I loved it.
So this is called. It's called Sosus,
So, Suze.
and it's what am I trying to say here? It's a tribute to an artist who did mosaic style art, whose name was Sosus,
Oh, yeah.
and it's got a bunch of mosaic hops in it. That's super cool. That's multi-layer.
It was a dedication to. I mean, as you see, they also we'll get to it here soon. They have a beer called Pompeii. Pompeii, being has to do with Mount Vesuvius, and in the volcano that went off, and there's a lot of mosaic art forms that were buried by a lot of ash. So that's why they brought in the Pompeii and Sozus. It's those mosaic art form is what they did.
That's
with
awesome.
it.
Those clever folks out in Iowa.
I know. They keep going, man. I got more shit rattling up here, dude. That we can get.
Well, that's why we have you on here.
Yeah,
That's why
right.
we have you on here.
Yeah, when we
I'll
first
Wikipedia that shit, man.
when we first sat down with Shaun, he was just bubbling over with info about all the different beers. And Case and I were like, "Oh, we're all gonna get along great." Like,
No,
that's
that's
so nice having someone that actually
So
wants to
he's
talk about
his-
the beer.
He's his own R&D department.
He is. He already knows.
He already knows.
We've been looking for someone to do the research and development for the show.
Oh my gosh! If there was only a Jeopardy category for beer, man.
The other thing is you can almost say whatever you want to. We're not going to check. We're not going to know. I mean, you could just be up here just...
somewhere out there,
Some
some guy's like,
bullshit.
"Oh no, he's wrong."
Yeah.
You could be out here just full bullshitting us right now. We're
No,
just
we
all
just
like, oh,
spoon
man,
just
that's
eating it
awesome.
up. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
And we don't have we can't.
I am
look
the
at
ultimate
comments, so
salesman.
we're just taking it. No one can
It
correct
sounds
us.
good. It
We're not
sounds
looking.
right, for sure.
It does.
Yep.
You hear that,
Excellent.
Facebook? We don't care what you have to say right now. This guy sounds smarter than you. So.
No, he's wrong. I'm looking it up right now.
We don't even care. We can't see you telling us we're wrong. We don't care. That might be a fun segment sometime. Though. You said something about beer Jeopardy. We should do that. Have people on, and that would be fun.
Or are you telling the truth? The people at home have to say, is this guy just... Some things are true, some things aren't.
Yeah. Oh.
Is this right?
Ooh.
That's a fun game.
You'll have like 3 of us up there telling like this is our truth, and the audience has to guess which one's lying.
We're gonna have some fun, guys. One of these days. We're talking about playing games. We're playing games tonight. It's more of a board game night, though.
Yeah.
Which we've been wanting to do for a while. I'm pretty excited about that. I brought down the big 20-sided die. Got some fun with that.
And when you texted me, the autocorrect was exploring kittens.
Exploring kittens.
So when I got that, I was like, I don't think that's the game.
This
I
sounds
feel
like
like,
Sid from Toy Story having too much fun.
I mean, it's not like exploding kittens is any better, but it was just like
Exploring kittens is awful. That sounds bad.
exploding
Exploding
kittens.
them sounds just as bad too.
But at least occasionally people have heard of the game.
Yeah.
said
Exploding kittens.
Exploring kittens sounds like exploding kittens needs to happen afterwards, just as a humane thing for the kitten.
Yeah. After you've explored the kitten. Wow. Darkness. It just got incredibly dark.
Segue.
why I'm here, folks.
Pseudo Sue.
Yeah, is that what's next?
Pseudo Sue.
Pseudo Sue, American Pale Ale. If you look at the American Pale Ale division on ratebeer.com, you have the top 50 beers in the country that they rated. Of course, you're going to see Three Floyd Zombie Dust. It's going to be up there. A very Citra Mosaic hop forward beer. This one's actually in the same category, ranked number 11 on the list. Is what it is. I mean, but it's a totally different beer. So basically, Sue, Pseudo Sue, how they get their name.
It actually tastes better than Zombie Dust to me.
I mean, it's solid beer, man. I mean, it's going really, really well in the state of Indiana. It's people are really, really digging it. You're looking at a $10.99 4-pack in a package store compared to like a $14.99, $15.99 6-pack of Zombie Dust right now, and that's where we wanted to be at. We wanted to hit that target. People love paying $9.99, $10.99 for a 4-pack.
Yep.
Of a good, especially
4-pack at Tall Boys.
exactly 4-pack of Tall Boys. It's a really solid price point. So basically, this beer, Pseudo Sue, was named after a lady. Her name was Sue Hendrickson. She discovered a T-Rex dinosaur fossil in South Dakota.
Oh, I've heard of her.
Yes. Well, what happened was they, this archaeological team got a flat tire on the side of South Dakota. They had been searching, for months, looking for stuff, had no luck, pulled over on the side of the road, had a flat tire. Sue Hendrickson went and searched into little riverbed, found some fossils, and it turned out to be the most complete T-Rex fossil found on Earth, and it was found in South Dakota. Sold it to the Field Museum in Chicago, $8.3 million. So that's where actually you can see Sue the T-Rex fossil in Chicago at the Field Museum. And it's actually my goal to kind of sneak in a Pseudo Sue beer and just chug it and shotgun it right in front of it while hanging out with the Sue. I'm wondering how far I can get, before I get kicked out on that one. Especially with my kids standing right next to me.
You gotta set a good example.
I do.
Sneak it in the sippy cup.
Yeah.
Sippy Sue.
No, pretty cool backstory. It's a good selling point for people. People are really interested in that backstory. But at the same time, just a solid beer. I mean, this is part of their core flagship beers. This is the beer that everybody knows.
Getting a 4-pack of this and just smashing through it in one go.
You could. It's a 6.8% American Pale Ale.
And then be drunk.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you're going to, you're going to be feeling good, definitely, after this. But at the same time, just a very well-balanced, solid American Pale Ale.
This is really, really good.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
loving on this.
that's what I love about the Toppling Goliath beers is when you start drinking it, you don't have to question what they're trying to go for. Like, you immediately get all the flavors. There's a ton of flavor in every beer, every drink, and you know immediately what they're going for. We tried some beers yesterday, and one I didn't know what they were going for. They totally missed. And all these beers have great flavor. And when I explained it to people that asked me about the tap takeover and the beer, we do a lot of funky stuff. And we like our milkshake IPAs. We kind of like off the wall flavors and stuff. But Toppling Goliath just nails what they're doing.
When you think you're sick of IPAs, then you drink a bunch of Toppling Goliath and you're like,
man.
that's the good stuff.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be done with IPAs, man. I mean, I'm past 40 now, and I really dig pilsners, kolsch's, lagers, and that's usually kind of my thing these days. But we brought in Toppling Goliath, and I started drinking these guys, and I was like, oh great, another IPA, into the state, and no, it totally threw me for a loop, and I was really, really excited about these. Like I said, they're juice bombs, man. I mean, they've got some great citrus, lemon, grapefruit, pineapple zest to them. A lot of people are really digging these days.
Yeah, I love the color, too. The color and the smell. I mean, obviously you guys are listening, but you should get one, pour it in a glass, or get it on draft. They just have an awesome hazy look, and they look good. They look like they taste delicious.
Yeah.
Look good, taste good, smell good.
Feel good.
They feel good.
They feel good.
That's right.
They hear good.
They make you feel good.
Make you feel good.
Sound good.
Earthquake.
The listeners didn't see that.
Didn't see what?
I'm trying to knock things over, guys. My cup, the table.
There's like 10 sample beers, and Nick is doing everything he can with his electronics to just get his mic a little taste.
I'm making myself nervous. That's what I'm doing.
This really expensive electronic device?
I'm trying to spill something on it.
Nick wants to ruin it.
Yes, just getting a little taste.
Buy a waterproof one next time.
Well, also, we can
Put it in a bag.
Put it in a Ziploc
before we
bag.
go on to the next beer, we could also talk to Shaun a little bit more about Craftroads, because I know that Nick and I are going to make a journey down there and check out the facility soon, which we're really excited
Oh, definitely.
about.
I mean, we are we're actually connected to a freight logistics company called Fitzmark. We have a bunch of people on one side of the building who are they're routing trucks all over the country. Most of them are brewery trucks, and that's how we kind of got into the business. Was like, look, we can actually route beer trucks across the country more affordable, especially being in Indianapolis. Indianapolis being the crossroads of America. We can get, we actually have a few warehouses located in Indiana. Have you guys ever heard of a keg company called Keg Logistics?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, the owner of our company, Scott Fitzgerald, owns 55% of Keg Logistics. Everybody, so pretty much half of the breweries out there that own kegs, they have our kegs, is what they are. So there is a warehouse in Whitestown, Indiana, 100,000 square foot warehouse that has probably about 20,000 empty kegs in there.
Does your owner have a first initial of F?
Scott Fitzgerald. I don't know.
Scott Fitzgerald?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know any other initials.
Bum. You're so funny, Austin.
That flew right over my head.
Well, it did 99% of our anybody under 60.
Except for this guy.
Yeah,
Mr. Pink Shirt.
Randy's boy.
What are we drinking now?
This is the Golden Nugget.
The Golden Nugget.
Oh, yeah, Golden Nugget. This is another one of their IPAs. This is actually made with Golden Nugget hops and Golden Promise malts.
Oh, my goodness. That is killer.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
That is real good. I've not had this one before. My goodness.
Bonus, it just keeps kind of rolling, the flavor.
Yeah, we have it in can. We have a couple cans that you gave me, and we all.
I got some cans. We got it on draft here right now, and that's the thing is about these beers. Is like, I mean, I've got like 3 beers lined up right next to each other right now, and they look as far as the color profile goes. One might be looking a little bit hazier than the other, but as far as their complexity goes, it's very orange and hazy. But still, a lot of different adjuncts and flavors that go along with each one.
Oh yeah, they're all very, very unique.
You can't.
For looking so similar.
I guess you can't judge a taste by its cover.
Trying so hard tonight.
You're done.
Yeah, trying
you are
so
done.
hard tonight.
Hey, the F. Scott Fitzgerald was good.
I mean, it was witty.
Just let it be.
Yeah.
Let that be the one.
I know of the USS Fitzgerald, and that sunk in Lake Superior.
I only know of F. Scott.
The Edmund
Know who he
Fitzgerald.
is because of Ted 2.
Ted 2.
They're looking up the laws and stuff, and they're like, F. Scott Fitzgerald. Why? What'd he do?
What did he do?
Yeah, Scott Fitzgerald. What'd he do? Why are you saying F him?
Okay. Har 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 har. That's pretty funny. This is. I don't want to say it's my favorite so far, but I'm really digging this.
It's a good IPA, man. Very drinkable. I think it's a 6.2%er is what this one is. Like I said, Golden Promise is a big malt that they use. It's a single malt. And Golden Nugget malts that they do. And it's just, like I said, man, it's just super citrusy. Very dank at the same time.
Where do you guys, the hops that you guys are Toppling Goliath, the hops that they brew with, do you know where they get them from? Or
Probably probably West Coast, Washington, Oregon, Northern California, and they're probably pellets what they use. I'm sure they have some, whole cone imperial hops that they use on a lot of their beers, especially the very dank ones. Are whole cone imperial hops. That's where you get that. Those are called like wet hop ales, fresh hop ales. Instead of having those pellets and drying them out, they're just tossing in this, big dank nugs in there is what they're doing, and that's why a lot of these beers, smell like cannabis because hops are the cousin of cannabis, and yeah.
It looks they look the same.
They do. They really
like
do
when
look the same. Yeah.
I've been scared growing them in my backyard.
like someone driving by to be like, look at this idiot.
Yeah.
Look at this idiot right here.
I would hate for someone to get confused.
Yeah.
We were laughing. I told him about the G13 strain,
Yeah.
the sweet
Oh my
water. That
goodness.
we were literally having people come in and kind of finger me over, like, hey, come here. I think someone's smoking weed. And
I was in a bar yesterday, and they had the 420, the Sweetwater 420 strain on, and people were like, I think this bartender has weed in his pocket.
Well, that was my favorite. We had the students.
Exactly.
The students were arguing,
Yeah.
and I heard the dude go, dude, I told you, I put it in the fucking car. I put it in the car. I did not have any on me. It was not on me. And he was getting mad at his
That's the
buddy. and he's
paranoia
like, I
that
told
goes
you,
on.
dude, it is in my car. And I had to explain to him that it's this G13 beer. They did buy him, and we had the glassware to send with them.
That is
But it was funny just hearing these two dudes
I
argue.
put it in the car.
He goes, it's in the car, dude. It's in the car.
No, you have a lot of
Give me
breweries
crap.
that are wanting to do beers like this now. I mean, especially in Colorado and Oregon, Washington, California, all these states who have recreational cannabis
it's coming.
legal, they want to make THC infused beers. They want to have
That's coming.
CBD
100% that's
infused
coming.
beers.
You don't have to drink and smoke. And you just drink, you're going to get drunk.
It's called crossfading, man.
It's
Yeah.
gonna rock people onto their
Yeah.
couches.
Yeah.
It's coming. 100% it's coming. Where they're going to start infusing them, and you're going to have all these different. I mean, like you said, you were out of the game for what, 3 years?
I was
and
out of
you
the game
came
for a
back,
few years,
and it was
man. And it's just
completely
amazing.
different.
All the new shit that's coming out. I had just 3 ounces of the 420 this strain yesterday, and from Sweetwater. And I couldn't believe how dank and skunky it was. It's like every time I had a little bit of burp throughout the day, I was tasting that skunkiness. And it made me wonder, I'm like, okay, is this like an artificial flavoring that they're doing? I mean, what is making me... Yeah. I
How
mean,
is it
it's
so
literally
dank?
like stinking up the whole bar. And
You just have a couple brewers in the bag doing squirrels and laughing, just doing this right here. That's what they want to hear.
They're getting exactly what they wanted. Mm-hmm. It's a great smell, though. It smells fantastic.
I actually
Floral.
don't like the smell of cannabis.
No,
Get out of here.
No, I don't like it.
it smells. I'm talking about the G13 in particular. Is what I mean.
Yeah. Don't say the C word.
Okay, I don't.
those
like
are the
smell of
mids.
pot.
That's why.
The devil's lettuce.
The devil's lettuce. That's right.
Jazz cabbage. Cheering the mic.
Yeah, cheers. With
Our
my fist.
electronics are literally trying to
In
drink our
danger.
beer. No, they
They
are
are
trying to get a sip.
I'm
So
gonna
this
hold
must
beer
be
with
the
2 hands.
Pompeii.
Oh yeah, the Pompeii IPA.
Well, let's cheers it, guys. This is the last beer of the night. Well, last beer of the show. Certainly not. the last.
Yeah. Right on,
No,
guys.
not
I
the
appreciate
last
it. Thank
one
you.
at all. Did you just tap that on the table like you're going to slam it?
I'm confused.
Hey, you know what?
The flavor in this is wild.
And that's what you do. You cheers to everybody, and this one is for the bartender.
Ah, that's what that means.
That's what that means. Yeah.
That's what I did.
Along with my beer selling experience, I've been a bartender for 18 years as well. So it was kind of always.
That's
the thing
what
that
that.
really
I've done that for so long. I didn't know what it meant.
Yep.
This. Okay, so let's try this again.
Okay, everybody cheers, and then you do one on the table for the bartender. That's what you do.
Because the bartender can't drink right
Yeah.
now.
That's
Not 'cause I don't allow it, but because
I
she's
started
carrying my
doing it
baby.
'cause I started tapping the bar because I'd be doing shots with the bartender, and he goes,
No.
"Oh, you got to tap the bar too if you're doing them with me." And then he's all like, "You just got to tap it all the time if you get it from me."
This
And then
is
just kinda
so
move from
interesting.
Oh my
Now,
gosh! See,
we talked about this earlier. What all hops has it? Because it's got isn't it Citra?
a lot of Citra,
yeah.
a lot of Mosaic. You know, I mean, Mosaic hops you can always describe to people as Citra hops on steroids. You know, it's just, you know, they're going to have that pineapple-y, tangerine, you know, lemon, grapefruit flavor to them.
Yeah, it's very fruity. That's what I get when I drink it. It's a very
Honestly,
fruity-
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we started seeing a shortage in these hops within the next few years. I mean, we were seeing a shortage on Galaxy hops for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, we still are, you know, kind of. And that's the thing about with Toppling Goliath. They actually do a couple variants of Pseudo Sue. They have a dry hopped Galaxy Pseudo Sue, and they have a dry hopped Mosaic Pseudo
They have
Sue.
an Idaho 7.
And they're still 6.8% brews. They're actually a lot thicker. You see a lot of yeast sediment kind of floating around in them, very unfiltered. You know, honestly, all their beers are unfiltered. They have a beer called Dorothy's New World Lager. Even their lager that's at 5.5% is an unfiltered lager.
We tried that, Nick. You gave me a sample.
Yeah, I gave you guys a sample of that too, man. That's
So is that a Wizard of Oz reference?
New World Lager? It kind of makes sense. I mean, Dorothy's
Well,
New
you got the
World.
backdrop,
I
so
mean,
I'm you can
yeah,
just go with
yeah.
whatever right here.
You know, I honestly haven't done a lot of research on that
That's
one,
about
but it
the
kind of makes
time.
sense, though.
It's close to that area. I mean, if tornado picks up in Kansas,
New
shoots you
World,
Northwest,
You're in a
gonna
new
be
world,
somewhere in that
exactly.
area.
Yeah,
Whoa, you're
That
right.
Wisconsin,
You
Iowa.
You can wind up in Iowa if you get caught in
Yeah.
a twister in Kansas.
I
You
dig
know
it, man.
that,
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz was actually a story of the American heartland farmer and fighting against the growing
The globalists.
globalist industry of like the
George
government
Soros.
and everybody else starting to like really choke them out and how they feel like they're being spun into a new world and they're trying to fight against it to show their worth.
Who told you that? Did you
It's
read
okay,
that,
it's
or is
okay.
that
No, I read that.
okay?
Audience is Austin's.
Yes. Is that fact or bullcrap? Is
No,
that?
it's a story.
yeah, we can do
It-
this.
yeah.
There
Is
we
it?
go.
What is it? No,
Did he
it's a
just
story
make
about
that
the
up?
American farmer. That's that's what the Wizard of Oz was originally written about. And it's
Okay.
just like a weird interpretation of it. Look it up. Google.
Well,
it.
it could just be a random dude's opinion.
It could
It
be.
does, I mean,
Yeah, it's just one guy.
yeah.
You can read into stories exactly
If-
what you want.
If Sean
especially
told
if
me,
you're
I'd believe
taking
it. If Sean
psychedelics.
said that, I'd
it's
believe
a-
100%.
GTS, man.
Austin,
Google that shit.
Sean just has an air of confidence that makes me go, he's telling the truth.
Google ruined people that were lifetime bullshitters. I have a friend that used to just say things out
Man,
loud.
I don't
and
think
he would
he's
say it
telling the
so
truth.
confidently that you would always think he was telling the truth. And Google ruined his life because he
Yep.
was ultimately always wrong.
That's
And then you
called,
could just start looking it up, and it just ruined his bullshitting.
I refer to
Oh,
it
I
as
am
a
no
Timmy
longer
Hartman.
friends with somebody because of that, because he was always like, "I am right and you're wrong," and I'm like, "Well, Google says you're fucking wrong."
And I
he would-
trust Google.
And he would still fight it, and not be like, "Oh no, you're not looking it up right," and he would look
You're
it up,
not
and he'd
looking it
pull
up
up the
right.
same source and like.
What did he do? Pull up
nitpick.
Ask Jeeves?
Ask Jeeves.
Well,
Bing.
because what happens is Google is run by the globalists, so they hide the results.
Yeah, they're with Zuckerberg and the lizard people.
So far off.
The lizard people, the frogs, and the blue and the blue people
Yeah,
from
we just went from having a
the hills
really
of
good beer
Kentucky.
We're taking it off the rails.
Straight
Well,
so far from.
we're at the end of the run here.
I mean,
We usually like to we go through and we say which beer it was our favorite of the night. I'm I'm going to go with the Pompeii or the Golden. I don't know. It's weird how every beer just got better and better. I really like the, what is it, the Golden Promise? Is that what you said that they use for the malts?
Golden Nugget is the beer, and Golden Promise is the type of malt that they use.
That's one of, when we homebrew, that's one of our favorite ones to use is the Golden Promise. So I really, really like that. But that Pompeii, I never was able to put my finger on it, but it was so good. There's such a good flavor going on.
The Pompeii for me was like, what really like struck me is that it didn't have that like really strong back of like what you expect from an IPA. It was just a very smooth flavor all the way through. The middle just like kind of leveled it all out, and there was no back to make you go, oh hey, I just drank an IPA. It was just super smooth all the way through.
No.
It even kind of leaves your palate kind of with a smooth feeling afterwards. It's really good.
No, that's what I liked. I think that was hard to pick a favorite, was for that reason. A lot of times, like you said, we might have like an IPA or two, and it almost ruins the rest of the beers, where it's hard to get your palate to the next flavor and stuff because it just crushed it.
Oh, we were just
But all
swimming in
these,
it. There was
like,
a lot.
that's what I was
There was a lot
impressed
for the
about all
palate
these
here.
Is that even though we're drinking a bunch of IPAs, and one of the ones we started with was double IPA, like our second one in, double IPA, Big Monster Boy, and we could still taste all the beers
Because
as we
it
went
wasn't
through.
a palate record.
No,
Yeah,
each time
it's
you
not
gotta-
going to kill your taste buds at all.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, it's there's a lot of things going on, man. Definitely.
Yeah.
And that's what we dig these, man. We're doing really, really well. I've done a lot of launches in the state of Indiana with new breweries, and I've never seen so many people excited about a brewery than I have with Toppling Goliath. Man.
Yeah.
I've launched Lagunitas. I've launched Anderson Valley, and there's like 2 or 3 others in there, but this has definitely been the one that people are very, very excited
They
about.
got that legendary status.
They do.
And the moment that you guys posted that you had it, I was like, Casey.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're one of your distributors yet, but
Yeah.
they need to be, because this is one of the best breweries that we could be getting our hands on.
That's
Yeah.
what's been cool about this, because Nick, sends me a lot of this, and for people that don't have a bar, like, I have to buy it from somebody. Like, you have to, you can see all these beers out there, and you have to find somebody that distributes it, because sometimes they're just taproom only, brewery specific, so we have to see if I can actually buy it to give it to the public. And one of the things that we do, and I told Shaun that Nick does a good job, and I think what we try to specialize with is we want people to be able to try a beer, to come sample it and check it out with not having to go to the brewery, not having to go drop $20, $16 on a 4-pack, and like you guys finding a $10.99, something that's not going to break people or really question, because a lot of people go to a liquor store and you look and you want to find the beer that you've never tried.
Yeah.
And when you're at the right price point, it's not going to break you to try it.
Yep.
And so it was really nice because I got introduced to Craftroads. And what I love for my end of it is that you guys do have 19 breweries, because people don't really know that, I deal with really 2 major companies and they're representing 100 brands.
Exactly.
And a lot of time they have one person
Dealing
representing 100 brands.
And that's one thing that I've kind of noticed over the past couple of years is like, when you have 100+ brands that you're selling, at what point do you stop becoming a beer seller and you just become an order
Box
taker?
checker.
Exactly.
We call 'em box
Exactly.
checking.
It's like,
This month you need to sell
I can't
this.
tell you how many times I'm behind somebody at an account and, they're not even really selling beer. The manager's saying, I need this, and this. And the guy says, okay, cool, far out, I'm out.
Yeah.
Well, when I show up and I'm there and I'm like, I've actually got to sell beer.
Right.
And that's what I enjoy about my job is like explaining to people and getting them excited about something and really getting into talking about the product and the brewery, and that's where I feel like I win.
Yeah,
And-
when we
and-
met with Shaun, when I met
Yeah.
you, Nick and I talked to Shaun for 5 minutes, and we were instantly like, this is an awesome dude to have for what we're doing on Brews With Dudes. This is an awesome dude because... And sometimes it's not even their fault because they're trying to make a living,
Yeah.
and they're told month to month, you got to move this, you got to sell
Yeah.
this, you got to move this. And we're trying to really show people these beers and get them to taste them.
And that's the thing. And by all means, I'm not putting down any of these distributors. Far out, man. You got some guys bringing in Cigar City and Funkworks and Terrapin. And
It's just overwhelming.
It's
It's
very
just
overwhelming.
overwhelming.
I mean, you got a lot of cool shit coming into the state of Indiana right now. But we just like to have, we like to be a small distributor. That way, when new breweries do want to come into the state, they're like, okay, who can we go with that is actually focusing on the brand that we bring in? Do we want to go with somebody that has 100+ brands? Okay, this guy's got, all these big hitters. Are they really going to focus on our product when it comes in the state for the first month, and then it's just going to fizzle out? And, or can we go with this, distributor here that has 15, 16, 17 brands? And that's what you're actually seeing pop up throughout the country right now. We're actually being asked to talk at different craft beer conferences right now throughout the country about what we're doing, because there's more and more small wholesalers popping up throughout the country that want to just bring in 10 to 20 brands right now, and that seems to be what's working. And those are the distributors that are really starting to flourish, because all these breweries want to get with these guys.
Yeah, before we forget, because there was something that we were excited about having you on for that you told us the first time we met, and we've talked about it the last couple episodes. We've actually brought it up. And you brought up earlier the lab and the brewery thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to talk about the Pioneer Series.
Of course,
when you told us that was such a cool concept that we're going to have a Pioneer night here that I'm really excited about.
I tell you what, one thing that kind of separates us aside from different distributing companies is we have something called the Pioneer Series. Now, when we get with a local, and it's usually an in-state brewery that we hook up with, and what we do is we hook up with a local brewery, and if they want to be a part of the Pioneer Series, what we do is we take 1 or 2 or 3 of their products, and it gets sent to Purdue's Food and Science Lab, and it gets tested for all impurities, or if any impurities. It gets tested for diacetyl, nitrogenol, ABV, IBU, all the qualities that make a good beer a good beer. And, I tell you what, man, 13, 14 breweries have sent us their product, and only 4 have passed right now. And we're very proud of this program. Especially we call it the Pioneer Series because one of the gentlemen that actually helped start our company, his name's Jim Scambry, and he actually pioneered the craft beer revolution in the state of Indiana. He helped start World-Class Beverage with Monarch. He, back in the late 80s, had this crazy notion of bringing craft beer to the state of Indiana, and everybody kind of laughed at him. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to start a different branch, and I'm going to start. Exactly, I'm going to start. He started World Class Beverage, and so he was able to bring Rogue and Oscar Blues and Sierra Nevada, Three Floyds, Bell's, all these great brands to the state of Indiana. We're still on the lower spectrum right now as far as the craft beer market share, throughout the country. But it's getting bigger and bigger. But we've got breweries like The Tap out of Bloomington. We got a couple brands from them that actually sell really well at 1869 Tap Room. Right down the road at Purdue's Memorial Hall, does really, really well. We have Schnitz Brewing Company out of Jasper, Indiana. We have a couple brands from them. They're a brewery that's been around in Indiana for 65 years. Not a lot of people have even heard of them before. Great German-style brewery. We have Crown Point Brewing Company just north of here. We have their Dude White Russian Java Porter. Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude!
Yeah, you have to
dude,
say
this is a bowling alley, man.
Yeah.
You got to have the Dude White Russian Java Porter here, man.
Offended. I am now.
I know exactly.
I knew that was a fire. You were throwing the match.
I was, dude.
This is a blue ball situation.
Yeah.
Don't tease me, bro.
But I tell you what, man, it's just we want to educate people about what kind of beer is out there in the state of Indiana. You have this whole generation of kids right now that are turning 21, 22 years old that didn't drink the domestic stuff like I did back in the late 90s. Drinking the Natty Light, the Budweiser, the Bud Light. They're going right into drinking craft beer, and they really don't know or have any education on what's good or what not. They don't know the proper flavor profiles, of what's good or what's bad, and honestly that's what we're just trying to do. We're just trying to educate people, and we're not telling people like, hey, your beer is shit. We want you to move in the right direction. We want you to be successful and make good beer at the same time.
No, well, that's what's cool about your guys' end is you're not judging them. This isn't a judgment
No.
This
We
is
don't want to judge
celebrating
people.
the people that did it and done the right, and for you. You don't know how you're doing until you really get it tested.
And the thing, and that's a point I wanted to bring up, and it's not a dig on anybody, but there's not a lot of beers out there that would pass. Is the thing. It's like great beers, beers that taste just perfectly fine, but you'd be like, oh, there's something wrong with it. Yeah, there's something wrong with a lot of beers, but.
You don't have to stop drinking it. Doesn't mean it's not a good beer.
No.
It's just the fact that there's.
It might have a little bit of this.
It doesn't mean you should stop trying like different beers that they drink. I mean,
course.
a lot of these breweries, they have great atmospheres, they have great food. Honestly, I mean, for a brewery to succeed in Indiana these days, I mean, there's a lot that goes along with it besides just making good beer. I mean, you got to have a great atmosphere, great service, great food,
Brand. Good brand.
a good brand, exactly.
You can sell stuff on cans. I mean, just the marketing. You can have a
Exactly.
full can.
I know.
You can do the release game. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot
Yeah.
of it that goes into it that has nothing to do with the beer aspect of it.
Exactly. Yeah, you're exactly right. So we just want to help people along, basically, is what it comes down to.
It's been it's been exciting the past couple weeks getting to start working with you because you definitely are fun to talk to, especially when, again, no dig on anyone, but some people are just coming in and taking orders, and it's fun to be able to sit down and talk and
I appreciate it.
and have all sorts of fun.
Nick and I actually met a guy over at a local bar a while back that was worked with a distribution company, and we just were like striking up a conversation where like he goes, "Oh, hey, I work for this."
The Revolution guy.
Yeah, the Revolution
I wonder how
guy.
he's doing. He was an intern for Revolution. If you're out there, bud, we remember you.
But no, I
The
definitely
Diggies.
want to get Shaun in again because we have Avery. There's some other ones, like I said, the Pioneer.
Got some great
series.
brands.
Out of the 18 or 19, when I looked through it, I recognized more than half of them, and I was like, dude, we could spend the next 6 months just hitting all these up because people need to try them. This was a very IPA heavy, but there's so many different styles on that list of 18 or 19 brands.
Yeah, because Shaun just dropped me like 4 money ghostes tonight.
Yeah.
Anderson Valley
Goses.
Goses, man. They have
It's
the
that
3 of the
time of
top
year.
5 like sought out after and selling and searching Goses in the country right now, and that's what they're known for.
But we appreciate your time because that's just
Yeah.
it is. Sometimes we have reps and stuff, and I don't think anyone on this panel or anybody that ever comes on here claims to be the end all, the be all of beer. We're all trying to learn. That's the point of it. And sometimes, I have reps from different companies, and they'll drop me off the stickers, they drop me off the coasters, some glassware, and they're out. And it's just nice to hear someone kind of talk about these brands and, like Nick said, do a little bit of the homework for us.
Yeah.
And be able to educate us on their
I
brand.
love educating people, man. I mean, that was kind of my thing, man. I always kind of wanted to be a teacher in the first place, but this is kind of translate on to what
You're
I
a
want to
beer
do. It's-
teacher.
Exactly. I want to be
beer
a beer
professor.
teacher.
If it makes up for anything, you're actually teaching us right now. So it's kinda,
And we're somewhat learned.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that we're definitely not
I am learnt.
learned.
We're getting learnt up in here.
Who's your dialect at work here? All right, guys, we're taking this real far, and we're out of beer, so we need to go get some more beer. Shaun, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for
It was-
having me.
it
I
was so
really
much
appreciate
fun.
y'all, and hopefully this will be the start of something that goes for a long time.
Oh, yes.
Splendid relations.
Yes, this will not be the last time that we're chatting up with Shaun. Austin, Chris, always a pleasure.
Always.
Didn't feel that way the whole time. But okay.
Yeah. At least I enjoyed the end.
Oh, goodness gracious.
They shared
Did
a
you
mic
turn
the
our
whole
mic
time.
off?
Yeah,
They're sharing
showed
a
up.
brain.
It
They're
was
sharing
literally
half
like-
a brain cell.
Yeah,
And
that
I'm,
cup.
I'm still trying.
Trying to share drinks with the table.
In the
Still.
electronics.
That's why I'm trying to get.
They're
this-
like the 2 old guys in the balcony of the Muppet Show. If
Yeah.
you want to do an old
I'll
school
take that
comment,
compliment.
you just
Waldorf.
literally
that compliment.
That would be Waldorf and
Yes,
Stadler.
yes.
Oh, we hated
It's
it.
already taken.
We loved it.
Red line.
just rubbing beards together over here. Just
It
rubbing
wasn't bad, but it wasn't good.
beards. Yeah. And then P-Lot showing up here, a swag whore, just wearing just every
ultimate
yeah.
old
Just
style.
swag
This is not even
Nothing's wrong with it.
This is not even the new shirt. This is
Oh, that's the
one.
old, not the new one you got
The
yesterday.
old
I
style.
Yeah.
got a new one too.
Not the new old style, the old style.
I looked for my old style shirt. I couldn't find it. So
I have plenty. I do appreciate the Weed Bee shirt,
Yeah, the Weed Bee
the
shirt's
soft
nice.
pink. Yeah,
I'm rocking some bare hands.
Pink. It's like
There we go.
I got
Right
the bare
on.
hands.
two colors right now. I got 2 shirts.
There's a big brewfest going on. I know up in Lake Granger here in April. It's the Lord of Hops. I don't know if you guys
Yes.
have note of that. That's
Yes,
Bare
we're-
Hands
we're
is a
setting
big.
up a booth.
Okay, I know Bare Hands is a big sponsor of that one. We actually are going to have a booth up there also. So that'll be a good event.
yeah,
coming up here in April.
I'm excited for that one. Austin, you're coming to that one with me too. The Lord of Hops.
Yes, I am.
What's the date on that?
April 13th.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I can't believe that it's April. We're right there. We're just a couple days away.
It's insane.
April showers. I'm just waiting for the May flowers.
I'm waiting for all sorts of stuff. Lots of good things coming up, including the
Beer,
Brews and
yep.
Bowling Festival.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's coming June 1st. Gonna have samples from 20 different breweries.
We have to have the dude White Russian Java Porter.
Oh, yes.
Right, seriously. I mean,
Absolutely.
Well,
it
that's stuff we
just
have
it
talked
makes
about, yeah.
sense.
It
It's
has to. We
this
have
is
to.
a fucking bowling alley, man. You got to have
Looking
that
forward
beer.
to getting smashed.
We're gonna you get
Yeah.
to drink beer, unlimited samples. You get to bowl as much as you want. There's music
yes.
being played all day. We got the family friendly bands during the day, and then the heavy metal at night.
Oh.
So
Should
we're
have
g-
food vendors, Arnie's, AJ's.
Oh, wonderful.
We got a lot of stuff going on. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's going to be huge.
We're going to start doing a couple ticket giveaways. Tickets are available now. If you go to our event section on Facebook, we got all that fun stuff going on. One more time, thank you to everybody for being on the panel tonight. It was a lot of fun. And we will see you guys next time on another episode of Brews with Dudes. Ow!